Peyton Roberts from the girls basketball team. Peyton, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And we've timed this kind of well because you are right on the precipice of 1,000 career points. You're sitting on the footsteps of that mountain. About to reach the summit. We're hoping you get it tomorrow on the network. Chris Sigler's going to be down there for your game against Harrison Central. But we're not going to jinx anything. Not going to say you're going to get it. We're not going to feed into that bad mojo. But what I want to ask you is, you're going to get it eventually. And when you do, what's that moment going to feel like for you? You've put in so much work into this basketball career, and you're about to reach a milestone. What's it going to feel like?
Honestly, so relieving. It's funny to say, but I've been dreaming of this ever since I was little. Me and my parents have been keeping the stats, writing it down, and just knowing that it's right at the doorstep is crazy. I just can't wait. Can't wait to hit it and to be able to relax that the milestone is hit and it's done.
I like that you brought up relieving, because it seems like the closer kids get to 1,000, the more pressure gets put on them, because now they realize, hey, I need 9 points, I need 10 points, I need 25, whatever the number is for their game. It seems like the countdown makes it even more hard. What's it like? What's it been like for you? These last couple of games where you're getting closer and closer and realizing, like, this is how many I need. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there.
The past couple games, it's just been play your game. Coaches and my parents and friends and family have been showing their support, but it's just kind of like starting to relax and having to like keep cool and just play your game, play to win. Don't really think about how close you are, even though you know it's right there. So it's just been slow.
When you hit that moment and you're able to celebrate with your teammates, I mean, obviously your teammates mean a lot to you. They have done a lot for this milestone. You can't score unless someone gets you the ball. What's that going to be like to celebrate with your team and the people that you've worked so hard with as a program?
I think it's going to be super exciting. It's going to be, I think, really fun having my teammates, my coaches, just everyone that's helped me get to this point be there, especially my younger girls, my youth girls. I'm really excited for them to be there to watch, knowing they look up to me and I look up to them even. It's going to be really nice having everyone there.
You brought up the youth, and every time we talk to a coach, I think we bring up the youth of the program because that's how you build it. But we never really talk to the players too much about what it's like to work with the youth of a program. And we're talking to kids below junior high that are just trying to work on basketball, trying to get interested in the sport, and that's so important to you. What has it been like as a leader of this team, as a leader of this Beaver local athletics community, to work with the youth and the future of the programs that you play?
It's super fun. They're very energetic and really driven, and they want to be good, especially at a young age. So it's super good to see that, especially since they are so young. And it's honestly been a learning experience for both me and them. I get to teach them all about the game and like the ins and outs, and they get to teach me like stuff I don't know. So it's really fun.
I'm sure they come to you with a lot of questions. What is the most frequently asked question that you get from the youth athletes?
Probably the most asked question is probably how I do it. Probably how I can score so much, which it's funny because these kids are scoring too. They're just now like developing their game, and it's funny how they just ask, "How do you do it?" And it's just funny to hear.
All right, I'm gonna ask it too. How do you do it? And we'll go even further into it. Like, obviously you've gotten, that skill that you have to score doesn't come overnight. You've put in so much work. So my question isn't just how you do it, but how have you been able to drive yourself to get yourself to this position where you're in now, where you are skilled with the basketball and you do have those kind of assets to go out there and score a lot of points?
Honestly, it comes from a lot of late nights, coming home from like other practices, being out in the driveway. Just both my parents believed in me when I was little. Like I said, I wanted to do this when I was a little girl, and now that it's almost here, it's really exciting to see all the work I've put in pay off. Lots of AAU practices and just getting shots up in the gym, whether it's raining, doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees outside, having my parents rebound for me, like just anytime I could shoot a basketball, I would.
You obviously spend a lot of time in basketball. When did that click in your mind? When did you realize that you liked basketball enough to work on it as hard as you have been?
I would say about my 8th grade year. when I realized that like I really like basketball, I just told my dad from the beginning like I will be on the wall. Like I want to score my 1,000 points. And ever since then, him and my mom have kept like all my stats like game by game. Doesn't matter. Like they all have it written down and they've just been there to support me the whole time. So
So you have the written record of every game that you've played, and the notepad I'm sure is out during the games. What's that like for you to know that like your parents care enough about you and your successes? It's not them trying to pressure you into that dream. You came to them and said, "This is what I want to do," and they're the ones that said, "Okay, we're gonna help you do that." What's that been like for you to have them on the journey?
very appreciative, I would say. It's definitely nice having two of your biggest supporters always by your side, always pushing you. Even if you had a bad game, they're gonna let you know. So, but bad game or not, they always say next game, next shot, to not worry about it. So it's definitely nice having them there as a support system, especially coming down to the wire. They're I think it's a little bit more them than me telling them to calm down because they're excited as I am. So
Yeah, who's more anxious about you being 9 points away, you or your parents? I think that's the big question.
I'd have to say my parents because I'm just like go with the flow, just next game, one game at a time, and I think they're getting down to the nail biting wire, and it's just funny because the whole house is like, oh, when's it gonna happen?
On edge, yep. And they're probably holding their breath every shot you put up, hoping that it'll be the one.
Yeah.
Every time we talk to a Beaver local athlete, they get the sense that Beaver local is kind of home. They feel like at a home in the community. It's its own little world down there in Beaver local. So, from your perspective, what's it like in the Beaver local community? What makes it feel like home to you?
I would definitely say the fans and the students and definitely the faculty. That doesn't matter like if you've had this teacher a couple years ago or a recent teacher, the teachers come out and support. The fans are they're so fun and so loud. They always get into every game and the students are really fun too. So everyone just makes the environment super fun and make sure they're there to show support. Big game, small game, doesn't matter, everyone's there.
We feel like we've been saying your name for a long time because obviously you shine bright on the volleyball court as well. Being a multiple sport athlete can be challenging. You have to balance the dedication to the sports. You have to kind of work on the next sport too, and when you can, so you're not just lazily walking into the next sports season. And then you also have to balance school life and the student athlete part of that. How do you juggle it all? How do you keep all these plates in the air?
Well, it's never you're never bored. It's super sometimes it's tiring and it's draining, the long nights, multiple practices, coming home and doing homework, but in the end, the reward is it's so it's so nice to like look back at all the hard stuff like you did do and all the rough nights, long nights, homework on the bus after long away games, and then you just realize how far you've come, and it's super nice to know that like you've done all the hard things now, and now it's like the easy journey to what you wanted to see.
When you're where you're at now, so I'm guessing time management has been something that you've grown in, or is it something that you've always been really good at? Do you have to build your time management, or have you always been pretty good at you know organizing yourself?
Definitely a procrastinator, but with playing two sports in school, there comes times where you have to balance it. So like you have to schedule like, oh, practice is this time. I have an hour before the next practice. You have to like balance your time of when school comes first and then when sports come. So
Some people thrive with the procrastination. I know it's looked down upon, but there's some people that just need that a little bit of stress, a little bit of adrenaline to get their best workflow. So I get it. I'm not gonna look down on the procrastination as long as it doesn't become a problem. I think I think there's a benefit to having some stress and that time frame where you're like, I got to get this done in an hour, and the Mission Impossible theme starts kicking in. And you're like, let's go. Um, let's see. Let's talk about the sports you play and the favorite moments in sports. There's a lot of moments. Maybe a big shot, maybe a big block, maybe a big kill. Big dig in volleyball, whatever it may be. What's your favorite moment in sports?
I think my favorite moment in sports this season would have to either be our last Harrison game or our game against Cambridge coming up. We were neck and neck all game, hitting big shots, hitting some big threes to put us in the lead was definitely exciting. The bench was electric and the fans get really into it. So I think some of the biggest moments are hitting big shots, especially momentum builders. So I would have to say my favorite is one of my deep threes from Cambridge. Just super exciting. Like it just changed the momentum of the game and changed the whole like team's dynamic of how we were playing. So I would just say like really big game changing opportunities are probably my favorite. The shifting of the momentum.
And one of the things that we realized from watching you play is there's nowhere where you won't pull up with a shot. Like you said, your deep threes doesn't matter. Um, what gives you that confidence? Where does your confidence come from as a shooter?
Honestly, so my confidence as a shooter comes in. I like putting on a show for people. I like people wanting to always know like what is she gonna do next? Like what move? Where is she gonna shoot the ball? And I like keeping my team on their toes too. We have this thing where if I give you the look, it's either like a backdoor or a crazy pass. So I like I just knowing that I can make them and I like to challenge my defenders. So always just keeping everybody, whether it's my teammates or not, on their toes is definitely where I like to go.
You keep us on your toes. What is next? Like what's the next thing you're working on in practice that you're trying to perfect so you can break it out during a game?
Definitely I wanna do some more behind the back passes, some more crazy offenses, just get the whole team involved, like more like cut and go and more flashy passes, just something to get the crowd and the team going.
The thing we know about success in athletes is success also comes with bigger expectations. When you score that many points in a game, people are expecting you to do that every time, every night out. How have you handled the expectations and the pressure that come with the success that you've been having?
Honestly, I think I've handled it pretty well. It at first it was exciting. I was like, "Oh, I'm scoring so much." But now it's just I don't want to say I'm used to it, but I know my role like as a leader of our team. I know my role and I know that when I have the opportunity to score, I'll score, but I also like getting my teammates the opportunity to score. So I like having everybody on the court and the floor, like see the floor as I do, and I like giving other people opportunities, but honestly, you don't really think about it. You just kind of do what you know what to do, and it just happens. At the end of the night, you just go see the score sheet, and you're like, oh, like so.
I do want to ask you before we let you go about your leadership and what it's been like to build your leadership muscles and to be a leader of this team and how you think that's been developed in yourself is like you said, like you can score, you can go out there and score when you have to, but you want to be a leader of this team. You want to make your teammates better as well. How have you been able to kind of grow as a leader over your career and where do you think you are as a leader compared to where you want to be?
I think I've grown as a leader, definitely just trying to be more involved with the team and making sure everyone is understanding like what we're doing, say like what play we're running, or just everyone has the same grasp of what we're doing. And then where I want to be, I just want everyone to like flow and click and just automatically know like, hey, the momentum's here, we're gonna do this. Or like I just want the flow to be better, but also just having my teammates support me has also made me more of a leader, I feel, because knowing that they trust me to call it a play or pass a crazy ball to them inside, like knowing that they trust what I'm gonna do allows me to like I feel like it allows me to help lead them more knowing that they trust me. So
All right, Peyton, before we let you go, every player profile, we give the athlete the chance to shine a light on the people in their lives, their support system, the people that they wouldn't be here without. So I want to give you the time to send your shout outs and shine that spotlight on the people that you think deserve it.
I'd like to thank my parents. They're obviously my biggest support system. They're my rocks. They're always there for me. I'd like to thank my teammates for just everything they've done, helping me get to where I am today, helping push me at practice, and just all my friends and family, coaches. I would like to thank Coach Sorge and Coach Starkey and Coach Mays for just believing in me and allowing me to having the trust in me to help lead the team and just I would just like to thank them so much for just seeing the potential that we had this year.
All right, Peyton, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on Running Point. We appreciate the time. Tell your parents to take a breath tomorrow a little bit. All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Chris Sigler will see you tomorrow live on the network. Hopefully, Peyton Roberts makes it a milestone night. And we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.